your very special guest. So you're going to have to give lots of energy when I announce him and give him lots of love and energy because it's the guy just before our headliner is going to come out, just before Kevin. Give a huge round of applause for Mr. Robert Menard.
Folks, please keep it going for Jeff LaFlamme, our host tonight. All the other guests and entertainers who came out. For the people who put this on, for the owner of this theater who gave us all sorts of beer back there, thank you very much. While we're at it, keep it going for me because I recently did the most important and difficult thing I've ever done in my life. I quit smoking. Let's see, it's October 6th, the Friday, it's been 19 minutes. I'm in a weird place in my life. I recently lost my favorite job, my best job I've ever had. These were amazing people to work for. It was a great job. I was well paid. The hours were flexible, but there came a day where I just didn't want to work that day. So I called them up and I said, I'm not going to be able to come in today. And she was like, what's wrong, Rob? Are you okay? Now, I didn't want to lie to her. I owed her more than that. And I owed her more than just, I don't feel like coming in today. So I said something like, you ever wake up and you face the harsh realization and the deep primal fear that life is fundamentally meaningless and it culminates in an endless void where nothing we've ever said or done in our lives matter and life is just a constant struggle for meaningful validation which can never be achieved and which will ultimately reduce our time here to a desperate and futile search for a meaningful validation of our lives, for an illusion of success which is based upon arbitrarily defined and culturally imposed socioeconomic standards no one can identify, let alone articulate. Have you ever been there, Jeff? Click. So I go back to work the next week, and I find out I no longer have a job. Seems they've decided to sell their shop and move down to Costa Rica, where they now spend lazy afternoons selling tacos to surfers, filling the rest of their lives with oil painting, salsa dancing, and sexy time. I didn't so much as lose my job as I did completely obliterate it. So they sent me a nice thank you note and a little gift. It was a picture of a coconut destroying a watch. So I end up looking for more work. I get an interview, I'm there, and they're like, so what happened to your last job? I said, the owners had a sudden and completely inexplicable existential crisis. They said, okay, well, when can you start? I said, immediately. But it's probably in everyone's best interest if I take 2 weeks off. Now let's talk signing bonus, because Robbie wants a taco. Thanks for coming out tonight, guys. So you know, I've been thinking a lot about suicide lately. Now, I'm not contemplating committing it, I've just been thinking about it as a concept, generally speaking. Now, folks, if there's anyone here who's lost anyone to suicide, I'm not going to make light of your pain. I'm very sorry for your loss. If there's anyone here thinking about committing it, please don't do it. There are 1-800 numbers you can call them in the middle of the night. People care. We will help you through this. Well, not me personally, because I would be horrible at that job. You call me in the middle of the night, I'd be like, dude, do you know what time it is? What do you want? I'm really depressed. I'm thinking about killing myself. Do you have any advice? Don't. It's not that I lack empathy, I'm just really left-brain dominated. And here's the thing about suicide, okay? And here's a problem. Suicide rates have spiked in the last couple of years, man. They are statistically anomalous. They have found a linkage between student loans and not having a dog, but beyond that, they don't know why. I would never end my book that way. There's no way I'm ending my story that way, man. Suicide doesn't end the pain, it magnifies it, shits it all over the people we love, and leaves a big mess for them to clean up. I would never do that. I do understand, you know, if we are diagnosed with a terminal illness, you should have the right to decide when, where, and how you go. Personally, I'm not going out intubated or pushing a button and getting a lethal dose of barbiturates. Fuck that, I'm going out fighting. Just in case there is a Valhalla. I think what I would do is I would go make peace with my loved ones. I'd go buy a couple of 10-inch buck knives and I'd go camping. And I'd find a bear. I'd say, here you go, bear, let's get it on. And I'd bring out my stabby knives. My friends would be like, did you hear Rob died? Really? How'd he go? We got in a bear fight. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. That's Rob. Mind you, if you think about it, it's not really too fair to the bear, is it? I mean, he'd be like, dude, what's your problem? I don't know you. And I'd be like, you're on my list, you stupid bear. And he'd be like, dude, I'm just minding my business, enjoying my repast of berries and fish, and you're attacking me with your stabby knives. What is your problem? And I try to explain to them pancreatic cancer, but he'd be like, no, I don't have the time for it. And if you really think about it, the bear, I mean, he'd be like, dude, you know what they do to bears that kill people? They hunt us down. They don't know you started it. Just leave me alone with my fish and berries. So not really too fair to the bear if we think about it. I think what I'd do though, if I was diagnosed like that, I would look at my list and I would engage in a series of increasingly risky behaviors until such time as death was inevitable and I could blame it on an accident. I think what I do, I jump out of an airplane with one of them flying suits, no parachute, you look like a flying squirrel, you can zoom, zoom, zoom through the canyons and crags, boom! That's how I would go out until my arms got to get tired, and I'd say, okay, it's my time, here's my cliff. Cliff jam. Could be an accident, we don't know. Still leaves a mess, but that shit'll fit in a plastic bag. I think that's how I would go out, man. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Unless I saw a bear. And I'd pull up my stabby knives and smack into his back. He's still on my list. My friends would be like, do you hear Rob died? Really? How'd he go out? Strangest thing. He jumped out of an airplane without a parachute. Almost smacked into a cliff? Nope. Got in a bear fight. Because I've checked, people have died jumping out of airplanes. People have died in bear fights. No one's ever died jumping out of an airplane without a parachute and getting in a bear fight. That's my last chapter. I know what you're thinking, still not very fair to the bear, Rob, is it? But I'll tell you this, if any of you are ever in the bush and you're being mauled by a bear, there's now going to be a part of your brain thinking to yourself, I really wish a guy in a flying suit with a couple stabby knives would slam into the back of this bear right about now. You'll feel like a fucking hypocrite then, won't you?
Nice.
And you know why I think suicide has spiked so much? And it really is sad. I think there's two fundamental reasons I see. One, we no longer connect like we used to. We don't connect interpersonally, we don't connect as a community. You have your cell phones out and you can text and whatnot. You can talk to 300 people, but you never make eye contact. We're losing that. And you see these people walking down the street, even here in Cornwall. It's worse in big cities, where they're walking down the street and they got their earbuds in and they're texting and they have absolutely no situational awareness whatsoever. They are completely oblivious to their surroundings. Millions of years of evolution have gone in to give us all certain senses that puts us at the top of the food chain, which coupled with our opposing thumbs means we get to eat them. And what do these people decide to do? Oh, let's block off the two most important ones with some hippity-hoppity music in my tweets. And they're in my way. The other problem I see is that we own too much shit. People think that things are going to make them happy. Things never make us happy. If you want to find happiness, I'll tell you what you do. Find your passion, serve your fellow man. Do that, you will learn abundance and happiness, the likes of which you aren't even contemplating right now. Ask Willie Nelson. It's true, and I'll give you another little truth here. You only really own that which you can carry whilst you're being chased by something that wants to eat you. Everything else is a liability. You ask any squirrel with a mouthful of nuts being chased by a bear, you say, hey, Mr. Squirrel, do you own all them nuts? He won't answer you because he's being chased by a bear, he's got a mouthful of nuts, and squirrels are notoriously stuck up. You tell them, Mr. Squirrel, spit out them nuts, spit them out. You'll weigh less, you'll breathe easier, your aerodynamics increase. Spit them out. Okay, you made it this time, but you got lucky, stupid squirrel. Yet you only own that which you can carry when you're being chased by something that wants to eat you. And it's important to realize these things. It's important to maintain situational awareness because your situation is going to determine what you abandon and what you keep. Now let's suppose you're walking through the bush, okay? You're walking through the bush, you've got a case of beer and a side of deer. And suddenly you're being chased by, oh, I don't know, let's say, a bear. Now you can, of course, the only smart move there, you only have 4 options. Abandon one, abandon the other, abandon neither, abandon both. The only smart thing to do in that case is to abandon your deer because you can get more deer the next day. Deer is harder to replace in the bush. So you abandon your deer, you slow down the bear, you get away with your beer, you get more deer the next day. Now if you're in the city, you have options available to you which would not be available to you if you were in the bush. You could yell out, help me, I'm being chased by a bear. God damn it, call 911, I moved to the city to get away from this. Help me. But no one's going to help you because they can't hear you because they got their earbuds in and they're fucking twitterings. Now you could, of course, abandon the deer. That will slow down the bear, but deer is harder to replace in the city. So you could abandon your beer, but let's face it, it's beer. So the only option available to you at that point is to run away from the bear, and as you run past the twittering fools, you smack them with the side of the deer, slathering them in deer blood. They'll be like, hey, what's going on? What's this? Deer blood? Oh, fuck. Look, a bear, I wonder if he's friendly. I should tweet this. The end result, of course, is you get away with your deer and your beer. The bear gets fed. There's one less twittering fool on the sidewalk, so it's win-win-win. I guess if there's any moral to my little story here, it's this. Folks, if you lost anyone to suicide, my heart sincerely goes out to you, and I'm sorry for your pain. If anyone here is thinking of doing it, please don't call the number, get some help. And if you have to do it, take a fucking bear with you. Stupid bears.
Yeah.